Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today you are watching, guess what? I read them, yep, the best channel in the world, and we've got another ProRevenge video. But before you start, please make sure you like, it really helps out, click the like button, it really helps out my channel. Also comment down below something and I'll probably reply to it, about the video. Click the bell icon and subscribe for more videos as it really also helps out, and thanks. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Why you should always be nice to potential hires. This is a bit of a long story about the value of being professional and nice no matter the position you are in. Mods, I've had to change some details of the story since my wife's work is very specialised. She must stay anonymous since stuff like this gets around. My wife and I moved to our current city back in 2013. The standards for my wife's job here are different to the standard back home. She has an associate's degree and most employees wanted a bachelor's degree. However, nothing could stop her and she kept inputting applications. One day, one of the employers she sent an application to called her back. However, it was not to tell her she had gotten the job. Instead, it was the manager telling her how unprofessional it was of her to put in for positions that were obviously above her. In fact, I'm going to delete your email from our system. Please don't apply anymore, it's just a waste of our time. I'll send you a letter since you just can't seem to follow my directions in my emails. My wife, after she got over her initial shock, asked the manager for her name. I don't see why it matters, but Ivanka Tulip. My wife said thank you and continued her job hunt. Sure enough, she got the letter in the mail asking for her not to apply anymore, citing inability to follow clear directions. My wife held on to this letter. I told her to throw it away, but she insisted on keeping it. Okay, seeing that she asked for the manager's name and kept the letter, so far I think she's gonna try to find someone higher up than Ivanka, and then try and get her fired or something, or report it. Well, my wife is an extremely precocious and hard-working person and eventually got her bachelor's and then became the manager over her crew. One of the manager's responsibilities was to decide who to send business to. My wife told her boss about the letter and what happened and used that as a justification that if this is how a business treats potential hires, then they really shouldn't be trusted with their business. Her boss honestly probably did not care very much and just let my wife do what she does. Honestly, my wife is a kind of a badass and it wouldn't surprise me if her boss just gave her whatever it took to keep her happy. Wouldn't you know it, the rude employee's business went way down. In fact, my wife would only give them business if they were the last ones who would be called. This led to the most awesome meeting my wife had this year. You see, to improve relations, the crappy employer set up a meeting with my wife and my wife's boss and the shitty business top management. They needed this meeting to show how much value they could add. The day of the meeting comes and everyone introduces themselves. Finally, Mrs. Tulip says she is a manager and how nice it is to meet everyone. That's when my wife said, "Excuse me, I just want to be certain. Are you Mrs. Ivanka Tulip?" Ivanka. "Yes, that's me." My wife. "Oh, excellent. I'm happy to finally meet you in person." Thinking she had in with my wife, Mrs. Tulip was over the moon. My wife let them carry on and tell her all about how much value they could add to the business and how long they could really help out my wife's employer. This is when my wife says, "Well, thank you, but unfortunately I feel that we can't really give business to an employer who we feel has some ethical issues that need to be addressed. Big boss from bad employers." "Excuse me, we were not made aware of any ethical issues. What are you talking about?" That's when my wife brought out the letter that was signed by Mrs. Tulip. My wife then tells them that if they treat potential hires this way, then it was an ethics issue for my wife and it would be very hard for my wife to give them business. Since she had concerns about the welfare of the business, she couldn't approve any more goes to bad business than absolutely necessary. Mrs. Tulip turned white, and you could see a pin drop on the other side of the table. My wife thanked them for their time, but apologised and went back to her work. We don't know if anything ever happened to Mrs. Tulip, but that business since has downsized and has gotten a reputation for being a poor choice to send business throughout my wife's organisation. Okay, so yeah, she got her revenge in the end. That's quite funny though, how, she was, at the bottom, and she was like, she had a degree and everything, and she was trying to, get a job and everything, and then this manager fired her. But then it turned out that, you hear stories similar to this, but, and then it turned out that she is now higher up than the person who was originally going to hire her. And so, yeah, and then she gets to make the decisions now and show who's boss. But, yeah, it's quite a funny story. So it shows, never be unnecessarily unkind to people, because it could, bite you back one day. So, yeah. Anyway, TLDR, wife gets shitty response from a bad employer, then the tables get turned when my wife is the one who decides to send the majority of the shitty employer's business somewhere else. A quick edit. First of all, wow, I'm totally blown away by how much this post blew up, way beyond what I was expecting. I'll address some concerns people had. The business in question had multiple things going on, including bad outcomes from previous businesses that were sent their way. I should have been more clear about that. To be perfectly honest, if I'd known how much this would have blown up, I probably would have shared. But yeah, that's the thing, like, it literally discloses nothing, like, you don't even know what type of business it is or anything. So, well, it said that, what was it, that, yeah, the company that was going to hire the person, that they eventually went under and, weren't doing as well. That's the thing, like, because they wanted to remain anonymous or whatever, like, we have no clue what industry this is, so maybe you guys can guess, so comment down below what you actually think this is, or, I don't know, because, yeah, you can't see, because, it could be, like, a business where it doesn't matter, but obviously it is a business where it really matters about, a few main bigger businesses, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it is quite interesting, because it is not very descriptive, is it, at all? Like, it could literally be any type of business in the world, and you wouldn't really know. So yeah, obviously it's one where it matters massively about, like, the bigger companies to make deals with the smaller companies. So I don't know. Yeah, I've no clue what it could be, but yeah. To the folks who said this is all made up, I completely understand where you're coming from. I would love to give more details, however, it's just not worth it, since my wife works in a small industry. Well, there we go, so, yeah. What I will say is that anything you read on Reddit, you should take with a huge grain of salt. Believe it, don't believe it, it's totally up to you. I do understand where you're coming from, though I had not been there, and read the same post from your perspective, I'd probably feel the same way. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how many stories have been made up or whatever, since this is a 150th video on this channel. Yep, that's right, 150. I don't think anyone's actually stayed from the start, but thank you if anyone has stayed from the start. Well, there are a few subscribers that just stopped commenting, which used to, so I don't know. And where was I going with this? I have no clue where I was going with this. Oh yeah, so I wonder how many out of those 150 were not real stories. That's the thing, normally I only pick the ones that have got lots of upvotes and things, so I don't have a clue. To the folks who think that my wife's only reason for doing this was a letter, it's not. All I can say is that the business in question would not have any issues had they just done what they were supposed to do. That's all I can say about it. My wife's letter was kind of the icing on the cake, an example of poor behaviour on that part. Okay, well that's a good thing then, because otherwise it wouldn't really make much sense, I know it's a bad experience at the company, but I mean, in a professional industry, like, I don't see why this would happen, but if, like OP said, if, there are other things, then obviously that makes sense. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, have a great day, and I have to get back to work. See you all on the internet when I get back home. Okay, so that's the end of this amazing ProRevenge story. So thank you everyone for watching the video, but don't leave it out. You got to listen to the whole outro, got to get that watch time. Thank you. So please listen to this. Thank you everyone for watching. Please make sure you like. Can you guess what I'm going to say next? Click the bell icon, subscribe, and comment down below, and I will reply to your comment in most cases. And can you also guess what I'm going to say? Have you been enjoying these daily uploads? Yeah. So if you have, just let me know, because again, like I said many times, but I don't think people actually watch this far in the video, so if you're still here, thank you. Please comment down below. Comment I read them I'm still watching the video, if you're still watching the video, and I will pin your comment. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching again, and see you in the next Reddit video, I guess. Oh yeah, and if you're bored, you know, I've got 150 videos on my channel, so if you're ever bored, or, you know, if you know someone else is bored, please just, you know, recommend my channel, because there's a lot of videos on here. So yeah, anyway, thank you, and goodbye.